Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Moments with Fikayomi. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you.
My name is Aaron Fikayomi. I'm a writer. For some years now, I've been publishing and writing posts and articles on my timeline on Facebook and Instagram, talking about a health challenge, talking about a condition that has left me disabled. And so many people have been curious and been wondering what is really wrong with this girl? What is this story about? And how have you been coping? How have you been surviving? How have you been living with this? Here to ask me. They have been curious and wanting to ask me, like, what is really wrong with you? What is the nature of this disease? What is this sickness all about? And sometimes when I try to give a response, I always beat around the bush and just try to cover up for things that I cannot really say. Well, today I'm about to address this. I'm about to address this and talk about what everyone has been wanting to know. If you're new on this channel, you're welcome to Moments with Fikayomi. Today I'm making it real, and for the very first time I'm going live talking about the challenge and talking about what it really is. Well, I've been telling so many people it is not what you think it is, and sometimes what you think it is not what it really is. So talking about the story, talking about my health challenge, talking about a disability, and not really addressing what the disability is has left many people curious and wondering what is really wrong with this girl. Well, I'm not just addressing this for my Facebook friends alone, but I'm addressing this for everyone who will come on this timeline, who will come to my channel and then wonder, why is this girl always talking about a health challenge? Why is she talking about disability? What led to that disability? Because I know that in every disability there is an issue that led to the condition. It's either inborn for people who are born differently, or an accident or a circumstance or a challenge. When I was 10 years old, I noticed a tumor on my right hip. It resulted from a welt that refused to heal up. This welt came from an injury that refused to go down, that refused to heal up. And subsequently, I realized that my right leg was getting stiff. I couldn't move it. It was getting immobile by the day. And so, in a bid to correct it, my guardian helped me adjust the leg, adjust my body, and all of that. But it resulted to futility. At the end of the day, I realized that I couldn't use the leg anymore. I couldn't use the leg to walk well. I couldn't use it to kneel down. I couldn't bend the leg, and I couldn't move around effectively with that leg. Subsequently, I realized that it had extended to my right hand, and with time, I realized that it extended to my left leg and extended to my right leg also. And this made mobility difficult for me from the age of 10 to the hospital for a checkup. And then the doctor said, they're so sorry, there's nothing much they can do about it because it's most possible I die through the excruciating pain. And since it's a rare disease that they themselves are finding it difficult to diagnose, then they gave me about 2 years to live. I was just 11 years old then, and then giving me 2 years to live, that means I'll be 13 years old when I'll die. Well, I I was worried, I was sad. It was devastating for me, it was devastating for my mom, it was devastating for my family that they will have to lose a child or member of the family to this disease, to this illness. And subsequently it turned out that it was getting from the normal way it was going worse and worse by the day. I realized that I couldn't use my right hand effectively. I realized I couldn't do many things that I was doing before, and I realized that it became even difficult to move around the house. It was more like I was imprisoned in my own body. I was imprisoned in my skeleton. I remember some people were telling me in my hometown, in my locality, they were telling me, "Oh, what is it this hard? Is it this hard? It shouldn't be this difficult. It shouldn't be this terrible. It shouldn't be this critical. You were working well before. You were doing all the things that you ought to do before. Why is it that you are making it look more difficult than it is?" Well, I couldn't tell them that I wasn't making this up. I wasn't trying to lie or trying to form anything like to make people pity me. I, for one, personally, I hate being pitied. And so everyone was like, "Oh, maybe she's pretending, maybe she's acting it up." I even up to a point some people felt, okay, maybe I'm possessed, and maybe there's a witchcraft coven I've joined or something, and then I'm using this to punish myself so that I can take it out on my family. There are so many assumptions and speculations about this health challenge because it was rare, and it was really terrible because at the end of the day it turned out that I couldn't use my hands. Both of my hands were stiff upwards like this. Both of my hands were stiff upwards, and moving around was an herculean task. Sadly, I realized that I couldn't sit on a bike anymore, and the only means of transportation that we have in my hometown is the motorcycle. And not being able to sit on a motorcycle means I must be indoors always. I can't move around, I can't go out. And so that made me drop out of school at a point. So dropping out of school, that was 17 years ago. I was just in my junior secondary year, the third year. I had to leave school. I had to stop going to school. I had to stop many activities because I couldn't walk well, and sitting on a bike was difficult. Also, I realized that each time I fell down, because I wasn't used to it, I was used to running, jumping, jogging whenever I want to move around, whenever I'm sent on chores or sent on an assignment. So I realized that I couldn't move around effectively. And then, in a bid to prove it that I'm not pretending, and in a bid to see that maybe something is changing in my body, I always try to run, I always try to walk, and eventually I'll fall down. So whenever I fall down, I realize that each time I fell down, a tumor, like the first tumor I saw on my right hip from the welt, I always realize that a new tumor always grow up in wherever I'm most injured, wherever I sustain the most injury after I fall. So many times I fell down in that way, and then I sustained injuries, and then after the injury I realized that I had a new tumor growing on specific parts of my body, to a point that I had this tumor on almost every part of my body. All of my left hips are filled with the scars from the tumor. And at a time I started popping the tumors open. I wanted to see what was in it because it was strange. It was hard, and since the hospital said there is nothing, the only hospital we had here, I went there, and because we didn't have much finances, there were not much funds for us as a family to push through for further medical checkup. So we just settled with what they told us at the hospital here. And then I realized that for each growth, each new growth, it was hard, it was stiff, and it looked like a bone growing on my body. So I always popped it open, and each time I popped it open, it will bleed, then bring out milky bony substance. So I'll sit with it, press it, and then try to bring out whatever was in it. And later on, I realized that in each tumor, I always bring out particles, bony particles that were like stones, little tiny stones. So whenever I bring out these stones, some were as big as my molar tooth. So after bringing it out, a new one will grow there. A new one will grow to replace it. So this went on and on and on, even onto my teenage years, and I was frustrated. I felt like death. I didn't really feel like death alone. I actually attempted suicide several times. Like, I just wanted it to end. I just wanted everything to stop. I was tired of living. I was frustrated. And then with time, I developed leg ulcers. It was terrible. All of my legs were eaten up with the ulcers. I remember one time, whenever I sleep at night, it was another war on its own, because all of the tumors that I was popping open, they became an open wound on my hips, on my back, on my knees. They were all wounds there. And then I had an ulcer on my ankle. And so with all of these, I had bandages here and there on my body. And eventually I realized that whenever I sleep at night, many ants will come, and then they'll just gather around me, sulking on the wounds, and then I'll wake up with this tingling feeling and feel irritated. It's either I have to take a bath or they have to change the dressing right there in the middle of the night. I always had insecticide handy. Sadly, I can't use my hands to do anything. It became so terrible that I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't do any house chores anymore. I was always on my bed. I was always tired. And then sometimes in the year 2009, I actually took this medication that was believed to help me. Like, everyone believed it to help me. Someone gave it to me, and then I started using it. But on the long run, I realized that this medication was making my stomach protrude. I remember that fateful day when I realized that my stomach was getting bigger. It was a day after the New Year celebration, so the festivities were still on ground. So I actually put on my Christmas clothes. Before then, I loved skimpy clothes. I love wearing my clothes to be fitted and all of that. And so wearing this cloth, I realized that it was so tight. It was so tight that I was feeling uncomfortable. So I had to zip down and then just hope that, okay, maybe I'm having indigestion from all the festive food and all of that. But eventually I realized that it wasn't the food. It wasn't the food that was affecting me. The following day, the same thing. I realized I couldn't wear most of my clothes again. None of my clothes were fitting in. My stomach was getting bigger. I remember my mom coming home from work one day, and then she saw me. She was like, Fikayo, you need to stop this medication now, like right now. But the damage had been done. By the time we got to the hospital, sadly, they said my stomach has accumulated fluid due to the drug. And it's not strong enough for them to get the fluid out at that time. My stomach was really big. It was very protruded that you can see the veins around my stomach, abdominal wall. You see the veins there. So living with this, having a protruded stomach, not being able to walk well, having wounds all over my body, and having leg ulcers, it made my teenage years a living hell. I was terribly frustrated and just wanted to die. And while all these frustrations were going on, one day I met God. Or let me say God met me. In my room, I'm always home alone, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what if a fire outbreak happens or something dangerous happens? How will I cope? How will I survive this? Because I can't even get out of the bed by myself. I need someone to help me out of the bed. So I'm always scared. But then this very day in the year 2011, frustrated, tired, and just wanted to end it all, I had this voice telling me that he is with me and he loves me. And I had the scripture that says, in my spirit, I had a voice that said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing will be added to you. Well, at that time I was mad at God. I felt God was a lie. Let me say, I was lucky to have known God from my early years. Like, I've known God since I was 5 years old, and it has been an interesting journey. But getting to 10 years old, developing this health challenge, and then at 11 they told me I would die. Then growing up further, getting to see how complicated my life was, both of my ends stiff upwards, wounds all over my body, and a condition that even medicals cannot help. It made me frustrated and I lost interest in God. So for God to have told me then, for God to have ministered to my heart then, that I should seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and every other thing will be added to me. I got I had this feeling of emptiness, like I was broken. It's that day broke me, it humbled me, and I realized that I was truly and very mad at God. Aside being mad at my family, aside being mad at everyone for what was going on, I was mad at God. That why would God allow this? God, where are you? What are you doing? Why this? Why all of this? Why this strange disease? And why can't you just take it away after all my prayers? Like they always told us in the children's church then, that the Lord hears the prayer of children. I felt my prayer as a child should have been answered. But everything was on a standstill, and it made me very frustrated. But that day humbled me, and that day was the beginning of my life. That day was the beginning of a different me. That day was the beginning of seeing my health challenge differently. And that day was the day that I saw purpose in my pain. And that was when it dawned on me that from the comfort that I have received, I can comfort others. Because I got to see that by that year 2011, it was already like from 2004 when the doctor said I would die to 2011. That was many years in between. And then seeing how God has helped me, I became humbled, and I was like, God, I'm sorry. Help me trust you more. And that was how my journey started. It was then that I realized that what I was going through is actually called heterotopic ossification. Heterotopic ossification is a soft tissue injury that is caused by trauma or injury to the affected parts, and then it makes muscles and tendons and soft tissues. It makes them stiff. Like the disease attacks the soft tissues and muscles and tendons, and then it makes it like like a skeleton, like calcium forming in your muscles and tendons and muscles, instead of the normal muscles and just what we have there. I'm not so medically inclined, but that's how I understood it to be. So moving on with all of these, moving on with my protruded stomach, I went to the hospital repeatedly to see if they can help me, because it made it difficult for me to sit down. Anytime I sat down, well, the heterotopic classification makes it difficult for me to sit on anything low without assistance. I need someone to, like where I'm sitting now, someone assisted me to sit down here, someone will assist me to stand up from here, someone assist me to lie down on my bed, someone assist me to get out of bed. And it's so funny that someone needs to bathe me, someone needs to clean up after me, someone needs to be there for my bedroom activities. I want to change my sanitary pads. I want to do anything, just about anything. I need someone to help me. I want to get into the car. I need someone to help me in and out of the car. Sadly, we don't have any taxi service in my locality. So each time there is a need for me to go out, I need to find someone who has a car and who can just convey me to my location. For example, when I need to go to the hospital. So this has been how it has affected me. And then it grew so worse that I couldn't do anything. The only thing I can do is that I can feed myself. Yes, once you put the food on the table, I can eat by myself. But eating, I can't sit down to eat like every normal person. I have to lean on something. I have to lean on something or find the support before I can eat. Then I can brush my teeth by myself, all with my left hand. Okay, so I said I'm a writer at the beginning, right? Writing for me, I use only this finger to write, to type on my phone. And on my laptop, I actually type with my phone and then forward everything to my laptop, or back it up on my laptop and then edit it on my laptop. That's how it has been. And when I didn't have a laptop, I did everything on my phone with this one finger, this one finger. And so that's how life has been for me. And it has been from one complications to the other. And then eventually, recently, when I went to the hospital to see if there is a way they can get the fluid out of my stomach so that it won't be too protruded, because it doesn't allow me to sit down. Sitting down here, I'm already feeling some kind of discomfort. I can't sit down on anything low, and my legs will get numb. And also, I will have shortness of breath and I'll start sweating. I'm already sweating a little now, but that's okay. I have to do this. So subsequently, I went to the hospital. Maybe they can get out the fluid. Maybe there's anything they can do to relieve the pain. And I was told that the fluid in my stomach is not actually fluid anymore. Possibly the heterotopic ossification has attacked the fluid and then made it calcified. It's no longer liquid. It's just like the bony substance, the liquid substance that were coming out of the tumors on my body. So they can't get the fluid out. And sadly enough, they feel my liver is getting a bit enlarged than its normal size, even beneath the calcified abdominal ascites. It was diagnosed as peritoneal calcification. So there is no way they can get out the fluid. There's no way they can help me get out the fluid. I just have to live with it. I just have to continue with it, and there's no way that a correctional surgery is possible. Why? A correctional surgery will make the case complicated because it has affected every part of my body. Every joint in my body is affected. The only joint I can easily move is my neck and my ankles. But God's so faithful. God's so faithful. He always gives me purpose in all of this pain. I started seeing pain differently. Yes, I do cry, I do break down, I do get tired, I do get frustrated, but not mad at God anymore. In all of the pains and all of the challenges, lying down there on my bed every day, not able to get out of bed until someone comes home or someone is around to help me out of bed. Sadly, I can't sit down like every normal person. It's either I lean on something or I stand up all through. That's how living has been for me. So sometimes when I see people who are healthy and then they're complaining about their life, complaining about how terrible things are, I'm always like, oh, please find time, find some way somehow to give thanks to God, because it seems your case is actually better. Your case is quite less severe. Think about people like us who can't do what we want to do when we want to do it, and then stuck in my own skeleton. But then God helped me to see it differently. This is my challenge, that is their challenge. And so in all of this, the Lord helped me to see that I can actually make people see purpose in their pain. Instead of complaining about your pain, thank God for the condition, bless God for the condition, and also see why. Get God to tell you and to make you know why you're going through what you're going through. There's always a purpose in every pain. And so whenever I wake up every day, my motivation is someone. How can I be a blessing to someone's life today? And so it has been an interesting journey for me living with this for the past 20 years. Yes, I'm celebrating my 30th birthday, and it's so beautiful because years they said this girl would die when she was 11 years old. And here I am celebrating my 30th, and I'm not stopping now till Christ returns or calls me home. I'm fighting the good fight of faith, even if it means I'll fight it with just a finger. Nothing is stopping me and nothing would stop me. So all of this happened due to something. I know many of you are curious. So You said heterotopic ossification is caused by trauma and injury. What caused the trauma? What caused the injury? Well, I have compiled everything and written everything out. Like I said, I fight the good fight of faith, even if it means using just a finger to fight it to the very last day. So I've compiled everything together in my book titled Crushed. It's a testament of grace. It's my true life story. It's my experience. It's everything that happened to me. It's everything that I'm not seeing behind the scene. It's everything that you want to know. You've been curious and dying to know. You've been asking, what is this? What caused this? Why are you physically challenged? What led to the challenge? What are some things that happened behind the scene to the challenge? Well, I've compiled everything as a story in my book Crushed. It's not just another piece of literature. It's a testament of grace. It's a written story carved out for people to get healing, for people to get restoration, for hope to be restored, and for you who feel life is worthless, come and see how God can turn a worthless life into something worthy. So you can get the book using the link in my description. I'll leave the link in my description and I will tag it as the first comment under this video. So you can get the book and get to know everything I'm not saying, get to know the story and get to know the inside out of everything going. So I must not end this video without saying this. God has been faithful. I've seen him turn situations around for me. Aside the fact that I didn't die 20 years ago, 19 years ago now, aside the fact that I didn't die then, that God kept me. I've had several near-death experiences. I can name them for you. I suffered panic attacks due to what led to this condition. I suffered depression to a point that I was suicidal. I went through so many depressing moments. I was frustrated and mad at God. But you know what? God's mercy came through for me. I saw God heal me of leg ulcer. Heal me of leg ulcer. I saw God take me from the miry clay and set my feet on the solid rock. Despite my educational background and educational level, God led me to study courses online, to take courses online, and eventually sent people my way who were supporting me financially. And with those support, I was able to get courses, learn things online that I've used to improve myself over time. To encourage you to be like that, whatever you're going through, whatever the situation, God will surely come through for you. He healed me of leg ulcer. He brought purpose from my pain. He visited me when I thought I was lonely. He had mercy on me even when I was mad at him. He taught me forgiveness. He healed my heart. He healed the brokenness in my spirit. He took away the pain and all of the things that I was going through and gave me a new life. So what you're going through, Jesus Christ loves you. He wants to bring his trophy out of your scars. He wants to clean you and wash you and make you his own. He wants to bring testimonies and testaments from your life. So whatever it is you're going through, don't give up on God. So this is the reason why I share my story. This is the reason why I write about what I go through. This is what I go through on a daily basis, and this has been my experience for the past 19 going to 20 years. And with stereotopic classification came other complications too, like I've mentioned earlier, but God brought me out of it. God sustained me and God has kept me, and I know He's not stopping now. So I pray for you, whoever it is that is watching this video. May the Lord comfort you and may the Lord bring you joy, peace, and wholeness. And may He make you see whatever condition, whatever it is you're going through, may He bring purpose out of your pain, teach you to forgive, and heal you of every emotional hurt. Yes, I realize that we need to heal within before the physical can be made manifest. The Lord healed me within. He healed my broken heart. Oh, you get to see what broke my heart, what made me an emotional weakling. You get to read it in my book. Like I said before, you can get the book in the description below or in the comment section. I'll leave a link that you can use to get the book. I'm glad I can tell this story today. I'm glad I can share this with you guys today, and I'm glad that I'm doing this today. Yes, it's my birthday. I'm grateful. I celebrate God. I'm greater than heterotopic ossification. Yes, I can't do anything on my own. At 30, I still need someone to beat me. Wow, it's quite embarrassing. It's quite a challenge for me. And walking into the bedroom every day or every moment, I need to ease myself. I need to change my pad, I need to take my bath or do any of the toilet activities. It actually breaks my heart so much, and it's a daily challenge. In my heart, my mind is ringing like, one day this will end, one day this will make sense, one day I'll be healthy again, I'll take my bath, I'll do whatever I want to do at my leisure and with ease. That's my belief. That's what has kept me going. And I know that God is faithful, who has started a good work. He has healed me of many things. I've been sitting down here for minutes now, and it's all good and it's all fine. This is something impossible for me to do before now. That shows God's faithfulness. That shows God's mercy. And I just want you to know that God is faithful and He never fails His own. Keep holding on, keep believing, and keep pushing forth. God bless you. To get more edifying content from my channel, please like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you feel about this. And also, I covered your prayers. Please drop a prayer for me as I celebrate my 30th. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe once again. And everything that you want me to talk about, just leave it in the comment section below. Thank you.